Good day, class. Have you prepared? So before we discuss, let's be guided with these objectives. At the end of the discussion, the student should be able to develop an understanding of formalist criticism and analyze resilience using the formalist approach. So that is our objectives. I have a question now that everyone is prepared. Who among us plays or has attempted to play 4 picks 1 word? Oh, it seems like most of the students in the class have tried playing it, which is good because our first item on the agenda for today has something to do with that game. We're going to play 4 picks 1 word, so pay great attention to these images. Who might be able to provide the solution for the first set of image? If you like to respond, kindly raise your hand. Okay, Mr. Piquero. Okay, that is true. The answer is strong. As you can see in the first set of image. And how about the second image? There are many hands raised, but Mr. Angeles should speak first. Okay, very good. I'm glad everyone is getting the appropriate response, which is boats. Finally, into the last image. Okay, Mr. De La Cruz. Really good. You did a great job. Who can recite the words we're looking for? Then, do it, Miss Agawa. That is absolutely accurate. However, allow me to ask, how did you determine the solution for each group of images? Yes? Okay, by trial and error. That is true, Mr. Piquero. So, let's take a quick exam to test your understanding of the components of poetry before we continue with our talk. Please grab 1/4 sheet of paper and respond in silence to the question I play on the board. Okay, so based on your performance on the quiz, we can infer that most of you are still aware of the many components of poetry, which will be crucial to our discussion. Let's start with our topic for today and then get deeper into that. What exactly is formalist criticism? Okay, the formalist method is one of the movements, approaches that have occurred throughout literature history that are used to examine or criticize literary works. Early in the 20th century, formalism initially appeared in portions of Eastern Europe, mainly in Russia and Poland. The works of Kazimierz Wojcicki, who is regarded as the father of Polish formalism, also contributed to the independent development of the formalism in Poland. Formalism actually emerged in several locations throughout the globe, but independently, therefore, it was never a cohesive movement with well-defined objectives for art and literary criticism. Perhaps even so, many people still refer to formalism as a movement because, like other movements, it is a theoretical one that prioritizes from over a text thematic concerns or connections to the outer world. This method focuses more on literary structure, or more specifically, the usage of phonemic devices, which refers to what is included within the text. Many formalists believe that the study of literature should focus solely on the form, technique, and literature devices within a work of literature. These individuals are known as formalists as a result. Formalism has a reputation for ignoring the author's intention as well as the cultural and socio-political context of a book. Because formalism believed that the introduction of these literary devices creates an impression of reality inside a text. It is more crucial to investigate these devices. Formalistic analysis of a poem focuses on rhymes, cadences, and structure. We can see that formalists value literary devices highly and that they consider them to be potent components that give the poem its authenticity and power. According to formalist critique, poetic language is autotelic or something that operates independently and justifies itself without having an external aim, or simply it is independent and can defend its meaning and sense even without the others. Because of these requirements, formalist critics calls for close reading, which makes it much simpler to find patterns within text when applied. Formalist critic typically delves deeply into a text because it explains how characters, settings, tone, point of view, storylines, pictures, symbols, diction, theme, and all other aspects relate to one another and how their synthetics produce meaning. We can therefore draw the conclusion that formalist approaches to literary analysis provide answers of what words, image, actions, and sentiments are repeated or present in the text. It also displays how repetition affects the overall text, which highlights if the work is cohesive, whether all of its elements function well together to form a whole, and whether each element adds to the overall success of the piece and its meaning. Therefore, if you are a formalist critic, or if you are asked to evaluate a literary work using a formalist method, all you need to do is look at what is inside or the structure of the literary work and how the structure affects the literary work as a whole. To put it another way, formalist criticism has method to it. Criticism first analyzes each structure separately, then look at the full piece, and then explain how they all come together to make sense of the complete text. Okay, so that essentially sums up formalist criticism. Simply keep in mind that when employing a formalist approach, you must look at the components both separately and together. Do you have any clarification or violence response, class? Okay, if there are no additional worries, let's go on to our next activity. Since there are no further concerns about formalist criticism, let us now read this poem. Okay, class, start. Alright, let me read it for you again. Resilience by Daoud Kamal. Sparks from an old anvil, desiccated petals of the fire, and the rafter, blackened by generations of smoke. Don't give up. Nothing lasts longer than what can be endured. Boats on the river and the flowing almond trees. Love, cloudless wine, but something is always lacking. This man learned by suffering the night. Glimpse or memories of perfections, costs of the moon, fortuitous conjunctions. The leaf turns with the wind. Okay, now please grab one half crosswise and answer the following activities. I will give you 30 minutes to work on it. Okay, time is up. Let's check your works. From the poem that we have read, what do you think of the subject of the poem? Alright, It's about resilience or mustering up the courage to stay on your feet even when there are challenges. Give one check if your answer is correct. Now, look at the poem. How many lines and stanzas are there? Alright, there are 21 lines and 4 stanzas. Very good, students. Okay, next, what do you think the poem's theme is, by the way? Okay, correct. It mirrors the truth of life because of its spiritual deadness. Now that we know its subject and theme, what do you think are the literary devices used in the poem? Okay, there are sparks from an old anvil, desiccated petals of fire, rafters blackened by the generation of smoke, sparks and blackened smoke, flowering almond trees. Very good. How about the structural style and stylistic of devices used in the poem? It is use imagery, metaphor, and symbolism. Based from our analysis, what do you think is the message of the poem Resilience? Okay, to stay strong, keep fighting, to continue believing in yourself, to stay positive. All of your thoughts are correct, but to be precise, the poem relays us the message to keep on track because nothing lasts, even our problems. Alright, seems like you have understood the entirety of the poem, but let us dig deeper. What do you think is the element used in the line sparks from an old anvil? Okay, imagery, because as you can comprehend from the line, it is describing an actual object. How about the line desiccated petals of fire? Metaphor, correct. How about the rafters blackened by the generations of smoke? Alright, another use of the element imagery. You get the correct elements of the first 3 chosen lines, but let us move on to another line. Sparks and blackened smoke. What is the element used in here? Perfect, symbolism, because it symbolizes the hardships of the speaker. Okay, another one. Flowing almond trees. Yes, assonance because of its sounds. Very good, students. Now, for the last part, it is true that the imagery used developed its own symbols in the poem. Yes, it's true. How about the figurative language? Did it add value in the narration of the story in the poem? Okay, it did too, and because of it, the poem delivered a more deep sense of reality. Okay, it is true that the diction didn't have any impact to reveal the work's meaning. False, because the diction was partly the reason why the meaning was revealed in an artistic way. Lastly, is it true that all the other elements relate to one another to form a clear meaning? Okay, yes, it's true because the poem Resilience, the sparks rising from an old anvil appeared to be desiccated petals of fire. These sparks have blackened the rafter by their smoke. The poet advises his audience that even in the face of blackened hardships, one must never give up, as these hardships are temporary. Eventually, a person will overcome these adversities of life and will be rewarded with vitality and success. Love was linked with cloudless wine as it is. Like other things, lacking something. The poet questions that whether a man learns by suffering. The night can neither appreciate the beauty of the moon nor can be denied. Just like in the virtuous conjunctions and the leaves which are turned by wind, beauty is present everywhere. The poem that we discussed was beautiful and enchanting. Do you agree? Okay, since everyone agrees that it was enchanting, I believe you understand it very well, and in connection with that, I have a question. Based from the poem, do you think resilience is a good thing? Anyone? Okay, yes. Of course, it is a good thing because as a person, it's natural to face challenges that are hard for us. But its hardness will make us strong, and that is resilience. But if you lost someone you love, what would you feel? Or, of course, you will sad and lonely. But even though you feel all that, don't forget to move on. Even though we tell ourselves this, we truly can't help but be weak, right? Why do you think it is difficult to overcome life's challenges? Yes? That's right, because something we aren't mentally prepared, and sometimes we won't seek for help, and by that, can you tell that you are resilient? Okay, the majority of you believe that you are resilient, and it's okay if you don't because you eventually form those who say that they are resilient. Okay, please explain why you think challenges and hardships are important in life, and share an event in your life when you almost give up. Okay, go on, Miss Agawa. Okay, thank you, Miss, for your answer and for hanging in there. That's the spirit, class. Even in storms, stay on your feet. Now, who can define resilience in their own word? Go, Mr. De La Cruz. Okay, thank you, Mr. But setting that aside, who can give a summary on how do we realize a certain text using formalist approach? Precisely. So, there are any more questions about formalist analysis or about the poem? Okay, none. Alright, if there's none, let me give your evaluation. For your evaluation, listen to the video I play and answer the question regarding it. Since everyone is done, please pass your paper. Seems everyone is done, please pass your paper for me to check it. Alright, since we're now finished with our activities and discussion, please copy this for your assignment. Okay, that is our lesson for today. I hope you learned something today, and thank you for your cooperation.